Yo, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be giving my first impressions on Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Now, I've been playing this shit for about 30 hours, so I feel like I have a little bit of skin in the game, you know what I'm saying? Not too much, some light to be honest. But I just wanted to go over how I feel about the fucking gameplay, the story, the PvP, customization, all that shit. So we're really gonna get into it. Let's go. Now, that motherfucking gameplay, my nigga, that shit is easy to pick up, hard to master. I love that shit though. That is my favorite type of gameplay, and it's the really type that got me into FromSoft in the first place. Every single, I guess, FromSoft game is very easy to pick up because it's really just a few buttons. You either slash that sword, roll, and block. That's pretty much it. I mean, like, it's not too much to really juggle, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, even though the gameplay is simple as fuck, the bosses and enemies and just the way everything moves around you that's outside of like you, it complements the gameplay perfectly to where it makes it feel like it's still hard even though you're doing simple shit. So it really rewards you for thinking outside the box on how you can do shit and really just pushing the gameplay to its limits, which I really love. And that type of philosophy of gameplay carries right over into Armored Core 6. Like, it's not even a question. So yeah, it carries over very nicely into the gameplay. Now man, another aspect of the gameplay I love is the huge selection of guns that you are accessible to. You're able to get a fucking shotgun, laser rifle, laser pistol, motherfucking grenade launcher, rocket launcher, plasma sword, shield. They even put swords and shields. Like, they didn't need to do that shit. They did not need to do that shit, but they still did it. And I'm very happy, man. I've been making so many fucking builds, but like the builds I've been mostly using is goddamn quad shotgun build. You saw that video, 4 shotguns using the weapon bay OST chip, and I'm just able to weapon switch pretty easily, and it just feels nice. And I've been messing around with the weapon switch, and I didn't even go over the fucking missiles that you can put on your fucking back and the complexity of those. There's so many different shits. There's even a fucking stun baton. You can really just beat niggas up with an electric baton. Like, it goes crazy. I love the amount of guns because it really enhances and gives variety to the way that people can play and approach situations and different bosses and shit. Now, some people will tell you that only like these few select types of weapons and armor pieces and shit are like the most efficient ways to be a boss. And while this might be true, I don't really think that there's anything that's just like dead bad. Like, nothing's fucking terrible at killing a boss. There's some, it's only shit that's better. There's nothing that's worse though, if that makes sense. Like, it's not going into the negatives. Like, okay, a shotgun is not gonna work on Sea Spider because that nigga doesn't stagger that fast and he'll damage you in the slow fire rate, blah blah. No, like, everything works correctly. Every weapon can hold its own against a boss. It's just some weapons that are better, like fucking grenade launchers on a lot of bosses. That shit can fucking nuke the boss. So shit like that, like, okay, I can see why that would be better, but if you don't want to play like that, you really don't have to. Like, they're not forcing you to play like that, if that makes sense. Next aspect of the gameplay is the movement. Now, this shit blew me out the water. I haven't played a mech game like this ever. I really haven't played a mech game since, what, Gundam Evolution, but that's just completely different. And I dropped that game a month into it. I got pretty tired of it. I mean Zaku too back there, but we don't talk about them days, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the movement, it was kind of hard to pick up. Like, it took me like I'll say an hour to 2 hours to really get a grasp and feel for it. That first boss in the first mission that you do, or not first mission, it may be the end of chapter 1 or some shit, whichever. No, I think that's Baltius. So yeah, the first mission boss, the fucking helicopter or whatever, that chopper, that flying boss, that shit was pretty tough to handle on the first, I'll say, 10 attempts for me. I couldn't beat that shit for a bit, but I think that boss was very well placed. Like, it made you have to learn the system pretty quickly to progress through the game, because if you didn't know the system by the first chapter and you were trying to still learn the system in like the middle of the fucking chapter, and then you walk up to Baltius and you still haven't grasped that shit, you would be fucking just lost in toast. But that boss was a very good way to have you learn the system, pick it up quickly, like really use the movement mechanics to your advantage, and tell you how to rush in, hit them where it hurts, because those missiles will target on you and you'll have to fucking dodge them from far away, and you'll get hit by the fucking blast radius of those missiles, so you have to rush in and teach you how to do that shit. And that's just an example of like the lessons that type of boss taught you, and it really just made the transition from playing your regular smuggler third-person game that's on the ground to playing a fucking third-person game that's in the air, which, you know, there's not a lot of games that play like this. I really don't think that there's any, actually. Like, this is a very one-of-a-kind type of game, to me at least. I've seen a few Gundam third-person games on Steam, because I was really looking into Gundam when I was playing Gundam Evolution, and those games looked okay, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how they control or like shoot or anything compared to Armored Core 6, but it's probably ass compared to Armored Core 6. I'm gonna keep it a buck, like, it's probably ass. But yeah, the movement is pretty solid. Next is the fodder enemies. Now, this is my only gripe with the fodder enemies, or like the, you know, the lower tier ass enemies. Those niggas are kind of, I mean, they're alright to fight at the very beginning, but they get kind of repetitive, if you don't say so. I do see the fun in putting them there though, because you're able just to really like fuck up a whole fucking town, city of enemies with a breeze, no issue. There's no like pushback from the enemies of that level. But like at the same time, I really don't like that. I wish that there were like more of those high level ACs and little mini bosses. I wish that there was more of those, groups of those even, to fight, instead of a lot of fodder enemies that you'll see across the map that don't really do anything to you. They're kind of trash. I mean, what, there's a fucking sniper, a little foot soldier type enemy, not really a foot soldier, but like, you know, like the very basic, just MT is what they call it. There's probably way more enemy types, but I can't fucking remember them. I just only know the very like essence of those types, like, okay, a sniper and a shooter. Nothing really special or spectacular there. Every time I would fight or like just destroy or completely decimate or eviscerate a group of fodder enemies, it always has me just looking towards a fight with like higher level ACs and mini bosses, shit like that, because that's actually where the magic happens in this game, with the fluid movement and just like just the crispness of the combat, bro. Like everything excels when you're fighting those type of enemies. And I really prefer those enemies over most of the bosses that I fought, except for like Baltis. Baltis is like the exception, but I'll get into that inside the combat section of this game. And honestly, like fighting those higher level ACs or mini bosses, I prefer that over most of the actual game bosses in chapter, mid chapter, starting chapter bosses, like the big show set pieces type of bosses. Like I genuinely prefer those ACs over bosses, like actual bosses. So I don't know what that says about the fucking bosses, but hey, I ain't saying nothing. I'm not gonna say that the bosses are bad. I'm just saying that they're not memorable at all. I'm cooking them left and right. They don't really have a cool opening cutscene. The only bosses I really remember so far are Baltius, of course, and then there was like a duo boss that reminded me of the Godskin duo from Elden Ring, and I think that there's another duo from Dark Souls 1. I played Dark Souls 1 and I forgot that duo. I forgot the name of that duo, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll show them on the screen. Damn niggas, bro. I love those two bosses, and that's it. Like everything else is kind of like, I don't know. Sea Spider was kind of okay. It wasn't that cool of a final ending chapter boss, chapter 2 ending boss like that, you know. It was kind of okay. So yeah, that's my first impressions with the gameplay. Now let's get into the fucking story. That shit is like like the world seems very intriguing, but at the same time, I do hate that the main way that you get information, or like vital information, that is through PowerPoint slides and shit like that, like Google Slides. That shit was kind of lame. It still is lame. I'm not saying, I don't know why I'm saying was, like, no, that shit's lame as fuck, because this just happening in the now. Like, someone's going through that shit right now, and I feel for them. Like, goddamn, this just kind of ass. I wish that they could have actually made like cutscenes and goddamn like actual characters, or like at least the mechs that these niggas are in, or something. Like, show me some, bro. I don't want to see some fucking blue and white and kind of grayish tinted, desaturated looking ass PowerPoint presentations showing the facility I'm about to destroy for the 30th time. Like, that shit gets kind of old, and I started skipping them. I'm not gonna lie, I started skipping that shit. I just said, okay, I'll just watch a whole video compilation of those shits if I really want to get the debriefing on what happened in the fucking mission. Like, I don't really care. I just want to get through it. The only times that I really pay attention are when like an actual cutscene happens. Like, I'll pay attention to that shit. Or like when for instance, Rusty, I met that nigga on the battlefield. That nigga's my nigga. Like, that's my nigga right there, bro. I met him. Me and him, we took on a few opponents. That nigga left me in the dust. He was going after that fucking boss. Hit the second phase, but shit, he came back in a different boss, and I'm like, oh shit, my nigga Rusty, he looking clean as fuck. Like, shit, that was actually cool, because that was actually like a cool tie-in. I got to bond with a character. I got to see what he looks like, or at least what his mech looks like, and you know, he came back in the story, and that shit was like pretty cool. Like, I need more shit like that in this game, but I don't think it's gonna do it. It fucking sold for the first 3 chapters, except for that specific part, and maybe Air as the player's Navi or whatever. But you know, I don't really hear about Air that much, to be honest. Like, she's just like, okay, typical AI bots in your head, yay. But yeah, for the most part, the story's okay. It's not that cool. No actually like cool emotional moments. So I'm just there feeling dead and drained and shit. You know, it really sucks, man, because the world looks sick, and they kind of just fumbled the bag with the story, man. What else can you really do? At least they put all their stats into fucking gameplay, because I feel like that would matter way more than the story. So I guess they didn't really hire the best of writers for this shit. Like, what type of shit are they trying to execute with the story? I don't know what they're trying to achieve with it. I don't see the vision. I don't see the end goal of the story. Like, I'm in chapter 3 of this motherfucking book, bruh. Like, I should be feeling like some type of intense build-up that's happening throughout the game. I should feel something like a war's about to brew out. That's gonna be the battle of the mechs. Oh my god. Like, no, I don't feel any of that shit. I just feel like, okay, I'm doing this nigga's dirty work, this nigga's dirty work, this nigga's dirty work. Like, okay, I'm doing dirty work. I'm getting dirty. Like, shit. Now, the part that I'm passionate about, like, I'm 100% passionate, is the fucking PvP. I want to talk about this shit since really I began playing that shit. Now, the 1v1s, that's just insanely fun, bruh. I mean, the dynamic of 2 players facing off in fucking mech suits, nigga. Different builds, different philosophies of how to run this shit, and we're just flying around each other. It's like a real dance. So just combats, like, is fucking great. It feels very fulfilling. Really getting those wins and shit is like, I got that shit. Like, I get that feeling every fucking time. It never ceases to fail. I never not get that feeling, you know what I'm saying? 3v3s. Now, 3v3s, I was very like pessimistic about how fun 3v3s would be in this game from watching the that showcase that happened, like, I don't know how many days, but it happened for the game release. You know what I'm talking about. The with Ouroboros, all that shit, them niggas playing, and that shit didn't look fun. Like, it looked kind of hectic. I didn't really like the look of it. It looked kind of like too much. Like, I was really just gonna say, oh no, I was saying like, shit, I'm just gonna be playing 1v1s. Fuck the 3v3s, man. That shit looks kind of lame. And hey, for the most part, it was lame, or it is lame in fucking randoms. Playing with randoms is kind of fucking trash. I don't know, but boy, when you hop into a fucking Discord server full of niggas that are passionate, really trying to fight each other, like really trying to box, really trying to get better, improve, and you're like doing these niggas, and we're having comms. Okay, get him. Oh yeah, okay, fall back. Like that. No, all that shit really enhances the gameplay. Like, it's crazy how like the power of friendship really enhances this type of gameplay, bro. Playing like that 3v3s is like a completely different experience. I really don't recommend playing 3v3s in randoms. That's just kind of lame. Stick to either playing in a group of 3 people that's hosting a fucking lobby to let other randoms join, or really the best way that I've experienced it is just have a lobby of 6 people, and you all know each other, you're all talking to each other, you can all shit talk, all that fun jazz, you can do all that shit and just have a fucking blast, bro, and just watch the colors fly as you do 3v3s, and you feel the intensity of that shit. That's like, okay, you're not really pub stomping niggas. Like, the score is constantly close if everyone is like holding their own against the bots. Now I'll give you one tip. If you're ever doing 3v3s, the best way to farm fucking points is just to target one guy. That's the main way that people were getting kills. Also, don't have the same type of builds. Like, playing on a team with fucking 3 quad shotgunners, because that happened to me like 2 days ago. That shit was like, wait, what? This is kind of lame. We're all going close range. We're all gonna be getting hit and melted. That was kind of lame. But when you're on a team where there's actually dynamic in what people are doing, this guy up top raining down AoE effects, then there's me in the back lines or like trying to flank people with the shotguns. Boom, boom. They're not even seeing what's happening. They're just getting staggered left and right. And then we got like a mid-range nigga with a fucking laser rifle popping niggas, and it just turns into like a really fun team game, bro. And I really see the fucking potential in this shit. But I'm about to explain this right now. They sold the fucking bag with the matchmaking. That's just ass, bro. Like, oh my god, why would they do this archaic ass 2003 ass fucking custom room, creator room type shit, nigga? What are we in, bro? We are in 2023 and we're still creating custom rooms. Like, I get that could be an option for like a private match before I got them like public matches. That's how you're gonna do it? No, we need quick play. We need like queues and shit, like ranked. We need that shit. They sold the bag on that. I said this to my friend. All of the FromSoft needed was one fucking laid off employee from Call of Duty just to come in his hole and lead the fucking matchmaking team, like just direct them, and they would have been good, bro. They would have had a very decent, very good and fun matchmaking experience for us to really play and experience. But no, they didn't do that shit. They wanted to do it the FromSoft way. The arcade guys, old ass shit, my nigga. Like, come on, bro. They could have done it better. I hope that they update that shit, but it seems very unlikely. I don't think so. I think FromSoft is like, for shit like that, like, they obviously built this shit from the ground up for a reason. Like, there's no way that they spent 5 years on this game, because that's how long this game took to make. 5 years. There's no way that in those 5 years a nigga didn't say, hey, let's do ranked and shit. No, someone definitely said that shit, and whoever directed this game said, nah, that's just kind of lame, we're doing this shit. So I don't know what the director was thinking, bro. He's bugging, bro. It's just kind of trash, man. And a little more about the PvP. I've run into people that say that only like 2% of weapons work in PvP, really, and if you don't use those, you're just gonna get wiped. And to them I say, like, fuck you, nigga. Nah, I've died to a variety of different weapons, a variety of different builds that are all equally strong, that I feel could really decimate a nigga if they're lacking, like I was. But you know, I had my quad shotgun build, for example. I was disbanding rooms and shit. I thought my shit was the shit until I met another nigga with a completely different build. No shotguns, lasers and shit, fucking boomsticks. They had that shit on me, and I couldn't do shit to them. So that's all I'm saying. Like, there's counters to everything. There's nothing that's just like the best way to play the game. There's nothing like that, bro. I don't think so, bro. Maybe like tanks, but I don't know. Tanks would be the only thing I could see possibly upsetting people. Like, damn, this nigga's tanky as hell, bro. I can't kill this boy. I can't really stun that boy, and he's just spraying me. I can't do shit to him. I can see how you could feel like that, but no, there's a way to do that shit, bro. There's downsides and upsides to being every fucking character. Not character, but like having every type of part. There's upsides and downsides to every part, bro. I don't think that everything is like 100% like this is the way to go. I don't think that. That's what I'm saying. Now, the fucking customization, bro. That shit blew me out the fucking water, bro. Like, I'm flying. Woo! Like, come on, nigga. Like, that shit is clean, bro. You can customize the colors, legs, arm, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Like, you can get everything customized and fit to your liking, bro. The fucking goddamn, I recreated Gundam Ariel and a Stray Red Dragon. I'll pop up the images in my builds next to them, and you can see, like, this shit is like 1-to-1 basically. The colors are accurate as fuck, and I mean, like, you can't really like have the same type of headpieces and shit as these Gundams, because, you know, this is a completely different design philosophy. They're not really thinking Gundam, they're thinking like mech, so it's gonna be a different type of philosophy with the way everything looks. But you can get the colors pretty spot on, and really have them looking recognizable. So as long as you can do that shit, I think that the customization system is fucking flawless, bro. Like, nigga, I'll easily spend an hour making a fucking, like, nigga, like, really just like silent for an hour, just coloring this shit, and then I'll play with it. Okay, now let me hop into a mission or PvP a nigga, beat a nigga's ass with my quad shotgun build, boom, I'll do all that shit for like another 2 hours, and then I'll hop back in the customization menu and say, okay, now I want to make this type of Gundam, and I'll do it all over again. Like, it's that fun to customize shit. I'm telling you. If you think otherwise, bro, I don't know what's the fuck's wrong with you. I don't know, like, what do you want from them, bro? They gave you what you want, bro. Now, as to where I'm at in the game, I'm on chapter 3. About to fight this fucking ice worm. This shit is kind of, I don't know, it's an iffy type of boss. I don't really like the way that the boss is. It's not really a technical type of boss. I feel it's gonna be like a gimmicky type of boss, which I really don't appreciate in any Souls game, really just any game. Yeah, hopefully the bosses get better after chapter 4 and 5. And yeah, that's my first impressions, man. This game is very good. I can see why IGN give it an 8. I think that the story really brings down their rating, but I'll give it my full rating if I ever make another review of this game when I finish it, which I probably will, because if I'm finishing the game, I love the game, because I haven't finished a lot of games in a bit, bro. Like, what's the last game I finished? Like, I'll play Persona 4 Gold, and like, I played that shit for damn near 60 or 70 hours, I recall, and I didn't beat that shit. I dropped it. So if I beat this game, I'm damn well gonna fucking make a review on that shit. So look out for that shit, bro. But yeah, that's my first impressions of Armored Core 6. Hope y'all guys enjoyed this shit, and deuces, nigga. Woo!